When I walk into a liquor store and I'm on the hunt for something, what are 10 bottles that I am always looking for? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. As bourbon drinkers, we all have those bottles of bourbons that we wish we could just walk into a liquor store and purchase at the drop of a hat whenever we seem fit. But that is the fun in this bourbon world and this bourbon journey that we are all on. We do not have the ability or the availability to just walk into a liquor store and find some of these harder to find bottles of bourbons and whiskeys. Well, today I'm going to be going over 10 bottles of bourbons and whiskeys that I always am on the hunt for, and if a store has it, I most likely might pick it up. Now, before we get into my bottles, I always want to know what your bottles are down in the comments below. So let me know in the comments what bottles of bourbons and whiskeys you are always hunting. Make sure you guys drop that like, leave that comment down below, and smash that subscribe button. Link to the Patreon is also down below. We're doing bottle giveaways, sample giveaways, all kinds of fun things over there. Discord is blowing up like you wouldn't believe, and you don't want to miss your opportunity to be a part of the Everyday Drinker Patreon. But without further ado, let's get into bottle number one. Bottle number one is gonna go to older bottles of Elijah Craig barrel proofs, right? We all see the newer A124s and B524s and sometimes the C923s, but I'm talking about the older bottles, like from 2020, 2019, and then we're getting into those pirate bottles where we get those really fun looking Elijah Craig barrel proof bottles, and those bottles could be collecting dust somewhere, and I always am looking for those bottles to add to the collection because I really want to know what older Elijah Craig tastes like. I've had samples of a couple of 21s and 22s before I really found out what Elijah Craig was all about, but I have not had something from a pirate bottle or something from like early 2020, and man oh man, I really want an Elijah Craig from one of those dusty days. I want one so bad. Let's get into bottle number two. Bottle number two is going to be a duo, and if I could get both of these, I would be a happy man, and these are the Maker's Mark FAE01 and FAE02. Now, last year was the BEP, the previous year was the BRTs, so that means 3 years ago these FAEs dropped, I believe. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments below if I am, but I've had a sample of both of them, and oh my goodness, those are some absolutely delicious Maker's Mark Wood Finish Series bottles. And I mean, the heart release is dropping now, so hopefully I can get my hands on that one and give you guys a review. But those FAEs are some of the best Maker's Mark that I have personally ever had. I think that FAE02 might be a little bit better than cellar aged. I don't know, that could be a hot take, but nonetheless, those FAEs are absolutely delicious. But before we get into bottle number three, we have to have a word from today's sponsor. Are you wishing that you could have a pour of a Van Winkle? Well, look no further than Give 270's newest bourbon raffle. Your purchase of a $100 ticket gets you into the prize pool for some amazing bottles of bourbons and ryes. Now with Give 270, yes, you get the opportunity to win some amazing bottles of bourbons, but you are not only purchasing this ticket to get some bourbons, but you are also supporting some amazing causes. Give 270 is partnering up with the Trent DeGiro Foundation in its efforts to provide scholarships at 3 Oldham County high schools and the University of Kentucky. This raffle has some amazing and great odds for you to win some of your favorite allocated bottles of bourbons from Maker's Mark Cellar Aged all the way up to the grand prize, which is going to be the entire Pappy Van Winkle lineup. So if you guys want the opportunity to win some amazing bottles of bourbons like this one right here, and you also want to support an amazing cause, make sure you go check out Give 270's newest bourbon raffle. Link is down below. Purchase for your ticket is $100, and the grand prize drawing will be held on June 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys go check that out. Drawings will be held at 8 o'clock that evening. As always, thank you to Give 270 for sponsoring today's video, but without further ado, let's get into bottle number 3. Bottle number 3 is going to be our first Wild Turkey product, and this is going to be the Wild Turkey Master's Keep 1. I don't know what it is about this bottle, but I have always been intrigued by it, and I have always wanted it. I saw it at a store for about $700, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on it because I don't ever expect myself to spend $700 on a bottle of whiskey or a bourbon for that fact. But the Wild Turkey Master's Keep 1 has always just sat in the back of my mind as a bottle of bourbon that I have wanted to pick up and purchase and just have on my shelf. I love the box. I love the bottle design. It's just a very clean looking bottle, and the whiskey inside might not be good, but for me, it's all about the aesthetics of that beautiful masterpiece of art that entire setup is. Let's get into bottle number 4. Bottle number 4 is going to be one that was released 2 years ago, and I just finished this bottle, and I am always on the hunt to find a backup of it where I'm not breaking the bank. We found a backup of this bottle in the previous bourbon hunting extravaganza, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Barrel Bourbon Batch 031, one of the best batches of barrel bourbon that I have ever had. Batch 35 is good, don't get me wrong. Batch 35 is absolutely fantastic, and so is batch 28. But batch 31 is so good, and I have turned a lot of you onto that bottle, and you're not sharing it with me, and my feelings are hurt. But nonetheless, I have been looking for another backup of that bottle and not break the bank of over $115 if I do find it. But if you guys have Barrel Batch 31 in your area, do yourself a favor and don't worry about me. I will eventually find that bottle for myself in my area. You pick it up and you enjoy that bottle and let me know what you think of that, because that is probably the one bottle that I always recommend to somebody and they find an absolute love for barrel products from that one. Let's get into bottle number 5. Before we get into bottle number 5, though, you guys are probably wondering why am I not putting any Buffalo Trace products in here, because there are no Buffalo Trace products in this list. And if you like that, drop that like. If you don't like it, well, leave a comment down below letting me know I should have put some Buffalo Trace products in here. But bottle number 5 is going to go to one that I have loved for a very long time. I had a little tiny sample of one of these a couple of months back, and I've wanted one since. And that is going to be the Smoke Wagon Rare and Limited. No matter what one it is, I just want a Smoke Wagon bottle of bourbon with a really cool metal medallion on it that has high-aged bourbon, high-proof bourbon, out of Nevada. You can't go wrong with one of those bottles, and those are some of the best MGP juice that I have personally ever had throughout my entire bourbon journey. It's so delicious, those Rare and Limited from Smoke Wagons. Any bottle that I have recommended on this list and you see in your area, make sure you pick up yourself and enjoy. But let's get into bottle number 6. Bottle number 6 is going to be Willet Family Estate Purple Top Bourbons. Now, we saw a couple of these again in our previous bourbon hunting extravaganza. We saw one for, I think it was almost $2,000, and one that was almost $1,000. I'm not spending that much for a bottle of bourbon, like I said previously in the video. But these are supposedly some of the best whiskey out there, depending on the single barrel that you get. But man, I want a purple top so much. I just love the aesthetic of that bottle as well. It's another one that is just eye-catching, and these distilleries do it on purpose. They make these bottles look pretty so that you and me look at it, think, wow, it's a pretty bottle. It's got to be good juice inside. And well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But I've had one sip of a purple top, and I think it was an 8-year at like 119 proof, and it was phenomenal. And I can only imagine what higher aged of those purple tops and higher proofs could absolutely be like, and they are most likely, from my imagination, I'm dialing it up, are absolutely out of this world. But let's get into bottle number 7. Bottle number 7, we are dropping it down in proof a little bit, and this is going to be a duo. If I could find one or the other, I'd be a happy camper. I'm talking about the 1792 High Rye or the 1792 aged 12 years. I believe both of these bottles are under 100 proof, but I have absolutely loved almost everything that I've had from 1792 minus the sweet wheat, right? Now the aged 12 years I've seen for about 120. I'm not spending that for it because it's a $60 bottle. I have not seen the High Rye at all, but if I do see that bottle for under 100, you best bet that I'm going to be picking that bottle up and doing a review for you guys. Now, for the 12 year, if I find that bottle for under 80, I most likely would pick it up just to have it and do a review for you guys, because I haven't had a sample of either one of them. But like I said, I've liked almost everything from the 1792 lineup, especially the single barrel. So I can only imagine that those two bottles right there are pretty darn good. Let's get into bottle number 8. Bottle number 8 is one that is going to be a very, very hard find because it most likely doesn't exist in stores anymore. And that's going to be the Blue Note 17 year. When a store used to do a single barrel pick, they would also get a aged 17 year Blue Note for their purchase of a barrel. Now, Blue Note stopped that, I believe, 2 years ago. So that Blue Note 17 is not on shelves anymore. So I'd have to walk into a store that had done a Blue Note pick a while back and for some reason never put that 17 year on the shelf, and they put it on the shelf for me. But enough of the Blue Note 17. Let's get into bottle number 9. Bottle number 9 is going to be one that I've seen my buddy Kevin talk about over at TikTok a lot, and I'm very intrigued. I don't know if I'm ever going to find one of these, but they are the very old Scouts. Now, these are high-aged MGP juice. Some of these barrel-strength bottles are under 100 proof, and that's just mind-boggling to me to think that a barrel-strength bottle of bourbon can be under 100 proof. To me, the math doesn't math up, but hey, math is math, and bourbon is bourbon, and barrel proof is barrel proof. It doesn't have to be high proof to be barrel proof, I guess. Not anymore. But like I said, these are MGP juice, high aged, low proof, but still an absolute enjoyment bourbon, and I want to experience that for myself. And if any of you know where to find one, let me know down in the comments below. But without further ado, we've got one more bottle of bourbon to get into. And if you guys have made it this far, I want you to take a guess at what you think this is going to be. And without further ado, bottle number 10. Bottle number 10 is going to go to the almighty, the King of Kentucky. And we've got 14 year, we've got a 15 year, 16 year. I don't know if there's anything older than 16 year for the King of Kentucky, but you're talking about some of the best bourbon that is in the market right now that you can't go wrong with. Some of the best single barrels coming out of a barrel of bourbon from a distillery. You can't go wrong with King of Kentucky. It's just, I don't even need to taste it before I would say yes to the bottle, because just seeing that bottle and having that bottle gives you this prestige in the bourbon world. And I would love to have that prestige, to have a King of Kentucky. The name itself, King of Kentucky, is just something that rolls off of the tongue so easily, and for me to say it like that makes me want that bottle so bad. These are barrel proof bottles that, man, I can only imagine what these bottles taste like, and I would love every single one of these 10 that I put on this list. And as always, again, I want to know what bottles you are always hunting in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this one, if you think any of my bottles are awful, let me know that down in the comments below. But until next time, this has been Nathan with The Everyday Drinker. Cheers.